First of all, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming to NA Connect 2024. I'm very excited to be here. Yeah, why don't you give it up for all of you? Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. My name is Roman. I'm a Flutter GDE. I'm a lead organizer at GDG Lawrence. I'm really happy to be here. So the talk is Journey of a Solo Developer in a Collaborative World. A friend of mine asked me a few minutes ago, but isn't the point to work as a team? And I say, what if you don't have a team? Can you sit down and wait for a team to materialize before you put your dreams in action? You should, like forge ahead with your dreams instead of like there are dreams that cannot wait for somebody else. You have to forge ahead. That is kind of like the premise of what I wanted to explain. And pretty much this is what I wanted to show you. Also share a little bit of my own journey as a solopreneur, as a solo developer. So as a solo developer, the journey could be a little bit like lonely, isolating, and challenging, of course, sometimes. You could be difficult to navigate the challenges of working independently, but also collaborating with other people. By show of hands, who's a fan of the Star Wars franchise? All Star Wars, perfect, awesome. So let me warn you, there's gonna be a lot of cheesy references to the Star Wars franchise. I'm a big fan, I'm a big nerd of Star Wars. I love it all. And you see the name that it says, remember, I called it solo developer. So this is a play on words on one of the fictional characters of Star Wars. His name is Han Solo. Han Solo is the pilot of the Millennium Falcon. Him and his co-pilot Chewbacca, they fly through the galaxy, fighting the Empire. They join forces with Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker to fight the Empire, right? But this is it. That's it. That's all I'm going to geek out about Star Wars, I promise. But even if you have not watched the movie, there's going to be a lot of references, and it's going to relate to you. So I'm trying to make it fun. Let's make it entertaining. These are not slides, are just images. So please stay tuned. So again, my name is Roman. I am a Flutter GDE again. This is my Chihuahua Papillon Pickles. So why don't we, let's read the room. So can you give me a single clap if you are from a GDSC? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Do we have GDEs in the house? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have a few. How about GDG in general? 1, 2, 3. Awesome, perfect. So you see by sound, then I can play, and then I can see that. So again, now I'm gonna ask you one thing. Have you had, for example, an idea of like $1 million idea, an app that you want to build, but you don't want to build it on your own? Give me one clap if you feel like this applies to you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I see people. How about like if let's say you've built like a website, like a web application, a mobile application, a RESTful API, a database, what have you, all by yourself. Have you done that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you see, so all of you are solo developers. But guess what? You're not the first and you won't be the last. So this talk is actually mostly to show you how to navigate through being, let's say, a solo developer while also collaborating with others, also navigating the challenges that it comes with, kind of like being independent, let's call it like that, but also collaborating with others and also, being competitive in this rapidly changing world of technology, how to keep up with, the AI, what are the new things? How you navigate those waters? I'm gonna show you exactly how. So let's set the stage. Let's say you have an idea for $1 million app, something that says, or like a package or a project. You say, if I build this, I'm gonna be a millionaire, or the community is gonna benefit from it, or I'm just gonna be famous. What if I could build this, but I wish I had a team behind me helping me build this amazing idea? So what do? You start coding on it, you create a repo, you do a couple of check-ins, couple of commits, you feel confident, okay, good, let's start working on it. You also share it with your friends. Hey, I'm building this amazing app. Do you want to join me? You want to bring people along, but you go ahead and still build it on your own. So you say, I can do it by myself, but I can bring people along. Awesome. Commits start getting a little lower. Now you realize that you're in over your head. You feel like this is too much for me. You underestimated let's say your project. Like, oh, I think it's too much for me. My friends have lives. Other people have children, their pets, your health, and they have full-time jobs. They cannot commit the same way that you do. No one has your own time. And then you feel like demotivated, the project then gets shelved, and eventually, little by little, you completely leave it out. But then you go back and jump to that Netflix watch, that you binge watching your Netflix series, because those movies ain't watching themselves. So you're like right back to that. You're like, okay, so then you shelve the project without you even knowing it, you completely abandon that idea. But another idea comes up. And you're like, oh, I have another. This one is going to work. So you bring people together. You say, yes, let's build it. This is it. So I'm going to start making another repo. I start coding on it. I start building. I bring people. Yeah, oh, awesome. And the same thing happens. The same cycle. Can you give me a clap if you've experienced this, even something similar? 1, 2, 3. A lot of people. There you go. You see? All of you are solo developers, solopreneurs. That is what I'm trying to let you know about. Like, sometimes you feel like that, and then you know that, okay, I'm the only one right now in this project. But then you feel demotivated because you're the only one. But let me explain really what solo means. Solo comes from the Latin word solus. And for those of you who know Spanish, solo means alone, by yourself, on your own. But it doesn't really mean alone by yourself on your own, locked up in a basement, just like coding. No, it means forging ahead with your own ideas and your passion, without the absence of anybody. There are some ideas that cannot wait for someone, so you have to move forward. So this is me going solo. Like, I'm going to push forward with this project because I have a vision, I like it, this is something that I'm passionate about, I'm going to push forward in the absence of others. But then if you build it, I don't know if you've heard this expression, if you build it, they come. So this is pretty much what this is. So you go solo, but you embark on this journey and you bring people along as you move forward. Because again, great ideas, cannot wait for other people, like I said. So you're not alone. You're solo, but you're not isolated. That is the key. For us solopreneurs or solo developers feel like we juggle a lot of things as well. So imagine you're juggle within the project. You're the UI guy, you're the tester, you're the developer, you're the DevOps, you're the backend engineer, you're the cloud engineer, you're everything, even the end user. Now in your life, you're also juggling your own life, your job, your friends, your family, your health, everything. And then you feel like very overwhelmed because of that. So how do you navigate that? And you juggle that, but on top of that, you want to make your dreams come true. You want to build that $1 million app. You want to build that amazing project that you know it has potential, but no one trusts you and no one wants to come behind you. You want to forge ahead on those projects. And like Naveen mentioned, she was right on the money, because this is something that I wanted to bring out. Like, some of the challenges that also you experience as a solo developer is actually, like facing burnout. So another challenge faced by solo developers is actually that. Like, you can feel like you're by yourself, you're alone. Those feelings kind of like manifesting lack of creativity, lack of productivity, difficulty concentrating, and that results in burnout. But then something else comes along, which is the imposter syndrome. Once that hits, it's all downhill from there. So these are the things that you experience because you're, let's say, working on your own. But on the bright side of things, being a solo developer, you can actually cash in really good, right? Once you make it, you make bank, and you can actually control your own career. You can work anywhere. You can actually be coding from Hawaii. You command, with the right set of experience and skills, you can actually command higher salary. You can work from anywhere. You work on your best stack. You don't have to be stuck with like PHP and jQuery. No, I want to work with Gemini, GenKit, with Go, the latest stuff, Flutter, those things. You can command that. You can work on your favorite projects, on your favorite stack. So you control your destiny as a solo developer or as a solopreneur. Also, solopreneurs and solo developers, we have to be conscious also on costs. If you're putting your ideas out there, but you don't want to constrain your budget, or like I like to call it, us cheapskates, I call myself a solo developer on a constrained budget, you need to be conscious on the cost. For example, nobody's funding you. You don't have a VC behind you. How are you going to go and present an amazing idea in front of a potential investor and say, invest $1 million in me? What, you're going to stand there and just say a bunch of words? Those are the things that you need to be conscious about, because then you're actually funding your own project. So those are things that I'm going to be showing you how you can navigate through those things. Another challenge by solo developers and solopreneurs is trying to stay on top of the latest technology, how to stay fresh, how to stay competitive in this so rapidly changing technological space. It's really hard. The latest framework just came out, and tomorrow I'm already outdated. And then how do? You feel like I feel like the FOMO kicking in, fear of missing out. Oh, my friends are already in the latest JavaScript framework, but I'm still stuck in ASP.NET or something like that. So these are one of the challenges as a solopreneurs and solo developers we face every day. Now, as you embark on your journey as a solo developer and solopreneur, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that you should be mindful of and you should tackle as you embark on this journey. Number one, and you're actually doing it right now, embrace the power of the community. There's nothing like, again, leveraging the energy, the knowledge of the community. You see, I said that we are not alone. You're not solo. You're solo, but you're not isolated. You're still collaborating with the community. Even if you are creating a project by yourself, when you go to Stack Overflow and someone answers a question for you, someone is already helping you. So you're not on your own. You're actually getting help from the community. By building this supportive network of colleagues, you actually exchange ideas. You can build better products. Again, while it may be tempting to working on your own, you still want to, like the benefits of working and collaborating with others actually outweigh those, those effects. But you definitely need to embrace the power of the community. Join, for example, again, communities like this, like GDGs, or for example, like a Discord we were just mentioning, like Slack or anything, where you find common people, even common solopreneurs, where you can exchange ideas and actually collaborate on projects. Now, let's ditch the narrative of lonely. Let's maybe call it independent or self-sufficient or focused. So you're going to adopt this focus mentality. If, for example, someone comes in and says, you got to be on React or you have to be on Kotlin multi-platform. No, I'm building my project. I adopt a focus mentality, and then I focus on my dreams. I don't get distracted by anything else, so you block everything else around you. Fear of missing out? No FOMO here. I'm going to focus on my dreams because my dreams are not waiting. I need to move forward with my dreams. That is why I say you forge ahead, but while, let's say, the team materializes and while you actually make connections, but you have to move forward. No one is, you're not going to sit there waiting for your dreams to just materialize on their own. And of course, if you adopt, for example, give me one clap for those of you who like free stuff. 1, 2, 3. Everybody likes free stuff. Of course, also solopreneurs or solo developers need to leverage all those free trial and free tier products that the Google Cloud provides. All of these packages and solutions right here, I use them on all of my projects. And for example, the reason why I mention these is because, again, we need to be on a constrained budget. You can use some of these products, and they're all either free or under a free trial. And for example, if you do Cloud Run or Cloud Functions, for example, the benefits of using something like that is because you pay as you go. And then let's say if your traffic increases, then you only pay for what you use. I would be happy if my traffic goes up and I pay like a bunch of money. Why? Because either I went viral or somebody deemed my project relevant enough to be hacked or something. But anyway, I'm just saying you need to adopt this mentality. Like, you want to leverage those things. You don't want to compromise because, again, let me actually restate that. You can use free stuff, but without compromising performance, security, availability, scalability, all the cool ilities. But you need to adopt that mentality. You want to, in the Google Cloud for us, solo developers and solopreneurs, I feel like it was actually created for us. It allows us to put like MVPs out there with great quality in a short period of time, and you can get to market much quicker. And of course, if you're, let's say, in the case of me as a solopreneur, solo developer, building amazing applications out there, you want to pick the right stack and the right, let's say, set of tools. Imagine if there was a framework that allows you to build nine platforms with one single code base. I wonder which one would that be. It would be a dream. If I could just do one single code base and I can just deploy to 9 separate platforms, that is the dream for any solo developer, solopreneur. Why? Because I'm by myself and I can just create one single code base and I have a wider reach. I reach all my users in every single device that's out there. Oh, okay, so Flutter. So again, I'm just biased because I'm a Flutter GDE, but you can use any other project, any other platform that actually allows you for this kind of benefits. But again, I'm biased, but you can take a look at Flutter. Give me a single clap if anybody knows about the Pomodoro technique. Awesome. The Pomodoro technique, for those of you who don't know, is a time management strategy that allows you to do like 25-minute focused tasks broken down by 5-minute tasks. I'm not saying you should use the Pomodoro technique. This is just a reference for you to say you need to prioritize your tasks. You need to divide your day into, let's say, comprehensive tasks. And then, for example, if without neglecting your life, your health, your current job, you could say, for example, okay, I'll do 1 hour on my dream or my project. I watch one episode of the Jeffrey Dahmer series. I go back and then just do one more task, and so on and so forth. You see, you split it and you like sprinkle it throughout your life. I'm pretty sure you will have a lot of joy because one, you enjoy the cool things in life. You don't miss out on the good things out there, but at the same time, your project is moving forward. So what I say is you try to find strategies and tools that allow you to maximize your time, but at the same time, you're moving towards your goal, even if it's a small progress. Small progress is still progress. This is something that a lot of solopreneurs and solo developers completely disregard and take for granted. Building in the open. Building in the open is not what a lot of people think. Oh, if I build in the open, a lot of people will steal my $1 million idea and they will get the million. No. Building in the open allows you to give people a window into your creative process. You provide like transparency, you build trust, you actually gain momentum around your project, you actually build a following on social media. Let's say if you leverage social media, but you build in front of people and then they will actually see what you're building. But of course, you're not disclosing every secret, but what that does is that it allows you to create like a feedback loop with the people out there. They give you feedback for free. So you remember, you all like free stuff. So remember, like your users, you're going to immediately tap into a potential pool of clients or potential clients, but at the same time, they're giving you free feedback, and you can even iterate or even pivot based on market trends and shifts in the industry. So building in the open is something really key. Now, C-3PO is a character from Star Wars, but this is a play on the words C-3PO, the letter C-3PO, conquer 3 project objectives. So think about that. Get your C-3PO, conquer 3 project objectives. Let's say you have a huge backlog of things that you want to build on your project. Instead of like waiting for like 2 years to just publish your application, no. Focus on the main 3 project objectives that you think your users can't live without. So you focus on those 3 projects, you build on those 3 features, you create an MVP, and then you put it out there. You get feedback. Instead of you, for example, like wasting time on something that your users did not want at all, you actually focus on the things that provide them value. And I say 3, but you can even go down to 1. It's because, of course, I wanted to play on the C-3PO. But yes, you could do 3 project objectives, but I even go down to 1. So get your C-3PO. Do your R2-D2. R2-D2 is another character, but R2-D2 is, again, a play on the letters, research and development. So what you do is you research what your project is about. Is anybody else doing it? How would mine differentiate from other projects? And then you develop. But then don't just go and lock yourself in the basement and develop, and then when you come back, another person did your stuff on top of you. No, you have to keep it in a very iterative loop, but also keeping an eye on what's out there. Not like, don't focus on other people, like, oh, I got to see what it is. You keep focusing on your project, you look at what's out there, but you keep doing it in an iterative fashion. Research, develop, research, develop. Do your R2-D2. Find your Chewbacca. Chewbacca is another character from the Star Wars series. What this entails is like, you want to find somebody like a friend of yours who you want to validate those ideas against. Not to find your friend that has a bunch of hair. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, find somebody that you can validate your idea. Someone like a different perspective, an outsider's perspective of your project. That way you can determine whether your project has like some legs. And then maybe somebody will say, no, I don't think that's going to work out, or give you some honest feedback. Because again, Chewbacca was the co-pilot of Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon, and he's very loyal companion. And Han Solo trusted him very much. But let's say you don't have a Chewbacca, you could actually use Gemini and even like iterate on your idea. See, because I have to throw Gemini in it, so you gotta bear with me. So you can use Gemini, to iterate on your idea. That's something that I've been doing also. So find your Chewbacca. Master Yoda. Yoda, of course, the great Jedi Master, but it's not Yoda. It's actually your one daily activity. What this means is discipline is key. What you could do if you say, I cannot do 1 hour of work and then laundry and then work and then mow the lawn. Okay, so then just bring it down to one daily activity, but be consistent, but without being too rigid that you neglect things in your life. But you focus on one daily activity, something that you can do. Today, what will I do? I will learn how to create mock-ups. Okay, perfect. I do my things, and then tomorrow I'll do one daily activity, but you have to be religious about that. You see, you could just do the minimum, but even the minimum allows you to take your dreams much further. So master Yoda. Avoid going on hyperdrive. So a lot of people say, I want to get faster to market. But if you do, you're gonna burn and crash. Make sure that you go at the rhythm that works for you. Don't try to compete with other people, and just try to find your own pace, your own rhythm, your own cadence. For example, if one activity is what works for you, keep doing it, but don't drop. You have to find like your own kind of like your magic number. Like, okay, I can just do one thing every day, but if you continue doing it every day, you're gonna see the results. You're gonna definitely benefit from that. But try not to go too fast, because I'd rather go slow and steady than fast and then crash. So make sure that you avoid going on hyperdrive. This is just like, let's say if you wanna, that's Baby Yoda, of course. So again, this is just for for those of you who wanna leave a legacy. While you're building something cool, you want to leave a legacy. What do? You either mentor someone, you pass down the knowledge. I would be like so sad, like if I leave this world and the knowledge that I have, it just goes down with me. No, the way that I do is I either mentor someone, I find someone a worthy successor where I can pass the knowledge down to, and this way you're actually organically, you're building a team, and you can actually attract young talent just by putting stuff out there and mentoring someone, teaching them your knowledge, and you can get into that, again, like I said, organically building a team. Remember, you're solo, but you're not isolated. By doing this, you can actually attract people. Tap into your inner Jedi. Everybody here knows or may have heard the concept of a Jedi. A Jedi is a powerful soldier who has the Force, and it's kind of like an inner energy from within. Everybody here is an inner Jedi. You have to have your inner Jedi. You want to channel all that energy. But again, Jedi is a play on the words just embrace, direct your inner strength. For those of you who don't know, I get imposter syndrome every single day. Imposter syndrome is a feeling, not a fact. Imposter syndrome is a feeling, not a fact. The way that you do it is you actually you invest in yourself. You validate your knowledge, and that way you reinforce that positive energy within you, and then you also channel it with other people. For example, like I want to share my knowledge with other folks. I want to be compassionate with others. Try to help them out. This is kind of like you channel your inner energy towards others, and this is how you embrace and direct your inner strength. So tap into your inner Jedi. Avoid building a Death Star. Everybody maybe have heard the Death Star. Death Star is this ginormous mega construction spaceship that was destroying planets along its path. This means do not try, because you may get overwhelmed by your project. Like you're like, oh my God, this is such a big project. I'm not gonna be able to do it, and then you just give up. The way that you do it is you split it, like I said, into manageable tasks. That way you don't feel so overwhelmed, and you can actually tackle each problem at a time. For example, like if you need to sit down on a 20-hour, sitting on your computer solving a problem, you are the problem. You need to split your problem into smaller manageable tasks, and then you're going to be able to tackle it. That is what is called microtasking. I just mentioned it to you, what I do. My wife doesn't even realize, and I'm like, how do you do all this stuff? I don't see you doing it. No, because I mow the lawn, I do one task. I do the dishes, I do one task. And she doesn't even realize it. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm just here watching a movie. No, after that movie, I'm going to go and watch and do another task. By doing that, remember, you move closer to your goals, but you don't miss things in life. You don't neglect your family. You don't neglect your life. Because if you actually embark on a journey like this, and then at the end you feel resentful and you push everybody away, this was not meant to be, and this is not worthy at all. So avoid building a Death Star. Make sure to break down your project in maybe just the MVP and try to push that. BB-8. BB-8, another character from the series, but this just means bold, be brilliant, be balanced. Build. Don't sit down and just talk and plan and write things down. You have to build. Build. Benevolent. You have to, again, be empathetic with others, help others, embrace other people. Boosting. By elevating other people, you elevate yourself. So be boosting. Business-minded. Of course, you want to understand, for example, what is the value that you're delivering with this project? What's the ROI? You need to be business-minded. Even though, let's say, you're not building a huge business, but big businesses have started with one person and one idea. And last but not least, believe in yourself, believe in the process, believe in yourself, okay? So that's BB-8. And last but not least, do not get destroyed by your own creation. If you get to the end of the project and you're exhausted, burned out, you don't want to even see your project, it was complete waste of time. Do not neglect the great things in your life, your job, your family, your loved ones, your friends, your network. Just because of a project, then it wasn't worth it. Then just stop it. I say stop it. No, have to try something else. But try not to get destroyed by your own creation, because at the end, you won't enjoy the journey. You won't enjoy how you move through your project. And I'm going to leave you with this quote from the great Master Yoda. He doesn't exist. But yes, the great Master Yoda. Difficult to see. Oh, should I do the voice? Difficult to see. Always in motion. The future is. What this means is actually, you cannot get attached to one single, let's say, like a tunnel vision and just one idea of the future. Things change. Things, you have to pivot. You have to be very, flexible, very nimble. But remember, as you move forward in your project, you have to enjoy the process. But you cannot foresee the future. That's why you have to be, stay, very flexible when it comes to, what the future looks like. And you have to just adapt to changes and just continue pushing forward. So again, thank you very much. That's actually the real pickles right there. So thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming to this talk. Again, build your dreams, continue building, embrace your inner solo developer. All of you are solo developers and solopreneurs. So thank you so much for this talk. Have a great day.